And welcome back. In part one of this discussion, we spoke to Ciola, a established and thriving criminal lawyer. She's so glad that she chose to do this, and she's thriving. Trust me, she's thriving here. We wish you many such successes.
Thank you.
We spoke to Nadia, who studied to be an HR enthusiast because she thought she's people's person. However, what caught her eye is interior designing. She instinctively knows what will look pretty, and she went ahead with it. Today, she's thriving too. Rashida, who started a small movement then way back in 1984 called Muslim Women's Association, mostly fighting domestic violence, disputes within the family where the women are not given their due. And today, after accomplishing perhaps dozens of such cases where she would make people sit across a table and resolve their disputes. What a wonderful world. Welcome back to part two of the discussion. Nadia, what does women empowerment mean to you? You personally in your own life? Ciola.
Yeah.
Yes.
Women empowerment, very wide question. Anyway, to be very narrow on this point, because otherwise, I think we were told it was going to be a half an hour to 1 hour program. Lifetime is required to define women empowerment.
Well said.
Yes, and who is next to me is the epitome of women empowerment. Silently, strategically, dedicatedly, to go on for 40 years. It is a very rare quality, and to not even ask for much in return, just to get the work done, that is women empowerment.
Do you know she funds her own enterprise?
Yes, see, I did not know that, and that is women's empowerment. That is empowerment. Empowerment is going to work every day and being able to stand there despite having maybe a particular day where you're feeling a little weak. You're going there and you're doing that. That is women empowerment. Women empowerment is being able to let men know that they are equal to women. So when we let them know that they are equal to us,
I'll interrupt you here. When you say we are equal, okay, we draw the same salary or bill you the same fee. How fair is it when women ask ladies' seat in a bus?
In a bus?
Yes.
Oh yeah, see, that's why I said this is a very long conversation. No, women should have their seat in the bus, because...
Then how are we equal?
I'll tell you, there is something called protective discrimination. It's a philosophy in itself. Protective discrimination, because we are equals among unequals. Some of us have intellect and some of us have muscle. So when we are talking about men and women, we acknowledge that men are very strong in their muscles. They're tall, they're fast, they're agile even we are, but they're strong and they're fast and they're very strong. And so we give them that pedestal to say that they're so strong. Then sometimes we forget that in fact women live much longer than men. So I don't know who is actually physically stronger. It's just that everybody has their place. Women do require that bus seat, because when you have to enter the bus, you have to fight for it. There the muscles work and they get their seats. We need to get our seat, because otherwise they will always be on top of us. They will always oppress us. You need that kind of artificial push, just to be somewhere. And might I also add that patriarchy is entirely artificial. It's a system of reservation, so that they get the seat. Patriarchy is giving you automatically the seat to being the ruler of the house, as you had said earlier in that case, to being the head of the family, to being the head of the dining table. Patriarchy is giving you that seat. I am not going to complain about a bus seat.
Okay. Nadia, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think? What does women empowerment mean to you?
I think women empowerment to me at the base level is just being allowed to do what I want. Like that itself is a big thing. And I must say, I feel very privileged being born in Goa, because here
Yes.
it really makes a difference. Goa and the rest of this, I don't think I would like. It's just the way that our parents have also, this mindset that boys and girls are equal. Okay, and at least in my house I've seen it. Maybe yes, I do have a younger brother now after 2 sisters, and he is quite spoiled, I'll say. Okay, but I mean, just the fact that anything happens, I can call up my dad and say this happened, and he'll say it's okay, it is what it is. And I think that itself for me is women empowerment, where me being a girl is not stopping me from doing anything, achieving anything. For me, that is women empowerment, I think. And
Rashida, in your line of work, a lot of people might be criticizing you that she has no other business but she's poking her nose in our family matters. She's my wife, I will deal with her, or this is my daughter, I'll do what I have to do. How do you push back? How do you push back from these criticisms? How do you take it? How do you deal with it?
I take it lightly because we have to. If we take it seriously, then we'll not able to do the work.
That's a very crisp and a very, very firm answer. Today, for women to be a leader, or for the women to do something impactful, what are the leadership behaviors or traits that you think that a woman should have?
First thing is that women should have education, and then the women should teach the children how to behave how to respect the women, how to respect the in the house, how to respect her own sister. If they get enough studies like this respecting a woman, I don't think there will be more rapes like the way we are getting the news every day. Will not get those type of news. If we educated our children, say respect women, that's what I feel.
Would you like to elaborate on this? How do we, if it is so simple that train our children well, if it was so simple, then why do you think it's not happening, or why do you think, where is the gap? It's simple. Teach your children how to respect. Where are we lacking?
I think the problem comes from the actions and words. Okay, we can teach our kids that this is what has to be done. But if the kid just sees his dad yelling at the mom, putting her in place in the house, he may say respect women, but what he's seeing, and your childhood has a very big influence on who you are as a person. So I think however much we try to say that we are progressive, I think we are in a generation there's a shift happening in the mindset. We are in the middle of that, and we still have that generation which had that mentality where men are the heads of the family, and that's what happens. And we are going into a new world where we think that women are equal. But during that shift in the houses, your mouth as a mother and father may say something different, saying your sister is equal or this and that. But the child is observing every day. They are seeing everything that's happening in the house. And that's why I feel the gap is still there, because you may be taught anything, but that's being ingrained in you somewhere. So it's only once that starts fading off and we make a difference and we say it ends with us, there's a movie that's come out, that's when it will change. So I think that's the gap, where actions are speaking louder than words still. So I think if that is, we change the way we behave in front of our kids. It's not like we need to behave a particular way to the world and then we go into our houses and it's a different story. Because there are kids watching, there are people still watching. Though we may not think that those kids are watching, they are. And that plays on who they become as people eventually.
So if there's now this is a parenting advice, so if there's one parenting advice that you would like to give on bringing up your children as equals, what would that be? What one action that you would want the parents to take?
I cannot give parenting advice because I don't
Okay,
have
what is
kids.
an advice you would give to your parents
Yeah.
in hindsight?
I think having kids is a very well thought of thing. You can't, I mean, this is a very personal opinion. I know people
Of
may
course.
not
Of
agree
course.
with it, but having kids is something that has to be very well thought of. You cannot exchange the child, you cannot return the child. 18 years later, you can't say, in India at least, you can't say, you're 18, leave. Okay? So, even parents, they are also growing even after the child is born. They think, okay, the life is about the child, but no, you have your own thing happening. So I feel whoever's having kids, please think of whether it is a good time to bring them into the world, because then there is a lot of thing that, you know, yeah, I'm just saying, think and have kids, because what you do affects them and makes them the people they are 18 years down the line. So
We park this thought here and we come back. We take a short break. See you soon. Welcome back again with Nadia, who expressed that it is so very important to teach your children the right from wrong in words and in our actions. Coming to Rashida, apart from, instead of intervening only when a complaint comes to you, what would be your advice today to perhaps parents or perhaps to the in-laws so that no dispute arises? Is that something you have thought over? Is that something like how we do preventive maintenance of a machine? So something like preventive maintenance of relationships. Any advice that you would have either for parents towards their kids or to the in-laws for the son-in-law or the daughter-in-law?
Some family they feel that boys he will look after the family, and also they give respect to the boy in some families, and in some families they treat both equal. So the people who treats male and female separately, I request them, I say to them that they should treat the both children equally, and there should be awareness about how to bring up the children and all. So that will be better, I think.
Thank you. Siola, what gives you hope for the next generation of women leaders? What
The 85%, actually just 81%, I just checked it, 81% of female judiciary in Goa gives me hope. My own office gives me hope because I also have under my wing a colleague, female. Before that there was a male colleague. So all that also gives me hope, because if they are willing to partake in advancing their career with a woman, then I think it reflects so much on how progressive they are. So everybody around us is quite progressive. This gives me hope. Also, as our friend over here Nadia has reflected, being in Goa itself, being born in Goa itself is a blessing. So we really get to see the progressive side. Perhaps if the same composition was existing in another part of India, we would have not been this way, and we could not have contributed the way we can today.
perhaps we wouldn't be sitting here and discussing this.
Certainly this set of events would not be transpiring. So that means even because we are in this small corner, which otherwise I think India sometimes ignores us, we are in this corner, we are able to have a ripple effect over the boundaries. So that's also a very good thing. So these are the things which give me hope. If I'm here, then that means somebody else can be.
And how do you balance self-care with the kind of job that you do? Because your job is very demanding, not only physically, mentally of course, but physically too.
Yes.
Running around the courts, coming back to office, all of that. So how do you maintain a balance between self-care and your work? Because you're not going to compromise with your work.
Yes, I cannot.
So how do you maintain that balance?
No, I am guilty over here. I am failing at this end. I am unable to balance too well. I don't let my work suffer, but then somehow I'm never having lunch on time. Sometimes dinners are not on time, so that happens. Yes, I'm guilty.
Up north, that is north of India, we have a saying which says "Jaan hai to jahan hai." If you are okay, only then you can help others. So
wear your mask, oxygen mask first, and then help the.
Yes, yes. Nadia, how do you manage your work-life balance? I mean, being a woman, are you expected that you'll go home and do certain things, and then work is there, your work is very irregular hours? How do you, and then you have to prioritize yourself, your complete sleep, your happiness, your maybe binge watching Netflix at some point in time. What do you do?
So I can say I'm very lucky in that, because one of the reasons I have chosen to do interiors is the freedom you get. Okay, so you're not basically you don't have like a 9 to 5 that you need to go to, or the extra hours. So that's a choice that I made for myself, that after 6 years of HR, I'm like, I cannot do that. I want my freedom, and it's very important, because when I used to not do that, I did not really say I was living life. It was just work and that's all. But now, because of the time I get, my sleep is very important to me. You can ask any of my friends. Sleep, I cannot compromise on. So I'll say that's my self-care, where I allow my body to regenerate. That's maybe the max I do. But yeah, I think my sleep is the most important.
Rashida, my question to you would be not perhaps so physically taxing or tiring. How do you attain your mental peace? Don't you think the stories are just running in your head and making you upset? What do you do how do you bring about your self-care?
Sometimes when the case come about problematic, that time I feel really sad, and I'll try my best to solve the problem. And even I get some calls at about 3 o'clock, but I never say no, because I feel happy if I solve the problem. So I make myself, I tell them, anybody, you can call me anytime. If you have any problem, you call me anytime. And I take their calls. So I feel very happy.
That's indeed, this is inspiration that all women perhaps look forward to. What's your mantra in life?
Very difficult question.
What's a mantra you live by?
I think
if you have to say something that I live like this.
I think I live by a thing called YOLO, which is you only live once. Because I think we all think that we have time, but we don't, and we realize that only once we have lost that time. Like, I'm pretty old now, okay, but no one, I mean so I look young, but I am old. But if anyone asks me what did I do for the last 10 years of my life, I don't have much to say. So I've realized that
I would interrupt you there. Have you been happy last 10 years?
Not all the 10 years.
Yeah, but that is what you have been doing. You have been keeping yourself happy. So don't ever say that you have not had achievements. I mean, you have been happy. That's a huge achievement.
Yeah. I guess.
That's a huge achievement. Siora, what's the mantra you live by?
Oh, I thought once one person gets the question, the other person won't.
No, but I was just watching your facial expressions, and you wanted to say something, so I thought maybe I'll ask you the same thing.
The mantra I live by is duty. I know it sounds a little over the top and all, but this is more of a recent mantra. Maybe earlier I wouldn't think this way, but duty, I think, governs so much of what we do and should govern what we do. When we were small, our parents, when they used to go to work, they used to not say, I'm going to work, I'm going to office, I'm going for my job. They used to use the word duty. Now duty hoita. So today when I go to work, I do say I'm going to work, I'm going to the office, I'm going to court. I don't use the word duty. My mantra is that I want to use the word duty because it has a different sense. What Madam Rashida is doing is duty. because everybody, you know, is
Can't do this.
chosen by God to do a certain job, whether you believe in God or otherwise, but you're chosen by whatever forces are there to do a certain thing, or certain many things also. So that is your duty. So I want to be a person of duty. Let us see how I can do that. Mantra.
In one sentence, what does Women's Day mean to you? In one sentence.
I don't know. For me, I think until now, it's just a day that we celebrate, because Women's Day should be every day. That one day where we go out of the way and we give flowers to our colleagues or our parents, I mean our mothers, or in office, as in HR we used to organize that like a function and stuff. But throughout the year there's other things happening in the office, but that one day you're brought and you're made to sit there and you said today is Women's Day. I think Women's Day should be every day. I mean, it's a different thing to, yes, we celebrate it, but I feel it's just a day and it should be, Women's Day should be every day.
Okay. Are there any upcoming projects or something that you plan to do? And I'm not saying only work-wise, that excites you, that you would like to talk about?
First, let me just second what Nadia said.
Okay, go ahead.
Definitely, Women's Day should be every day. Any projects, any upcoming things that excite me? Yes, I am agenda driven, and I do have certain plans in my mind. I am trying to find ways to get those implemented. And
Could you share something with us?
yeah, you know, I'm thinking, in fact, I was just discussing with one of my colleagues. We have the Mundkar Act. Yeah, again, you said not work oriented, but this is not necessarily work.
Yes, it's passion oriented.
It is. It will help Goa. And in the Mundkar Act, you know, it's a heritable right.
Correct.
But it is not heritable by a married woman. This is stemming from some kind of discrimination. So I'm looking at ways in which we can change this. If not from judicial activism, then from the government side,
empowerment side.
Yeah, or the women empowerment side, some kind of representation. These are agendas. When we say agendas, we don't need to mean that it is something evil.
Correct.
But these are some agendas are there like this. So I'm looking at trying to push my agendas.
Amazing. We
Hence Mantri and Mantra.
Lovely. This brings us to the end of our program today and these discussions. Wish you all the very best and wish you all the women a very, very happy Women's Day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
you.